Welcome to the NRL previews for round 16 of the 2023 season. A shorter round with Origin just around the corner. I'm Renee Gartner and joining me is our 2023 expert Josh Mansour. And we kick off Friday night with the Cowboys and Panthers. Both have depleted packs, but it's as good a time as any to take on the Premiers back-to-back. The Cowboys need to consolidate a last start win against the Storm. They get the Panthers at a good time, but they're also missing 4 of their own players.
Well, great to have you back, guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, great game to start off our round 16 clash. Obviously, 2 heavyweights. Cowboys, off the back of a great season last year, want to kick off their form against a big win against the Storm. And yeah, they do got the Panthers at the right time, but yeah, like you said, they're losing a few players of their own, like this man right here, Valentine Holmes, has been playing out of his skin as of late. And their home record is pretty good, so they've got that home field advantage, but again, they're playing against the heavyweight champs, the Panthers, so it will be a big game.
All right, well, let's look over to the Panthers. They've navigated Origin quite well in the past. I mean, you'd be able to speak from experience, that depth that they've created within their sort of lower ranks. It's helping them fill in those big spots.
Well, they've got one of the biggest nurseries in rugby league, Penrith, and the goal for them was always to have that depth and bring on those young players coming through. Like you've got the Jerome Luais, your Nathan Clearys, Mitch Kenny as well, now that he's making his own career in that number 9 jersey, and now you look at Sunia. They just keep coming through, and he's been outstanding for the Panthers. He's been outstanding as one of the best finishers I've seen as of late. And you also got a young Lindsay Smith, I should say, playing up front in the middle. He's going to be a huge star of the future as well.
You've already got Origin on the brain thinking of Lindsay Collins.
I don't know. There's not that many Lindsays going around.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks, Josh. Unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see the match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. And if you can't get to the game, you can watch it on Channel 9, Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kickoff is at 8 p.m. Welcome to the NRL previews for round 16 of the 2023 season. A shorter round with Origin just around the corner. We now preview the Knights and Roosters. I'm Renee Gartner and joining me is our 2023 expert Josh Mansour. And Josh, the Knights gave the Broncos a real run for their money last week. Huge games from Ponga and Gagai. Blend those two together because they had an amazing game.
Yeah, killing it. And I think Gagai will be playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder this week. Obviously, he should be in the Origin side. A bit unlucky in my opinion, but you also got Ponga there who's been absolutely killing it for him. And hats off to him. He wanted to commit his time with the Newcastle Knights, and I feel like he's been playing really well. Obviously had a bit of issue with the concussion as of late, but yeah, good to see he's back as his preferred jersey, number 1, and he's absolutely making that of his own.
He made a statement against Reece Walsh, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that was absolutely mouth-watering that matchup, and I'm sure he's just going to kick on from here.
I look forward to seeing more of those ankle breaker sidesteps as well too. Over to the Roosters, and hopefully tensions have cooled down, but they face a very combative Knights unit as well too. A new look spine again for the Roosters.
Normally you look at in the past and you think the Roosters will be easy favourites in this matchup, but yeah, obviously playing the Novocastrians up north, it's going to be a very, very tough game, and they've just been playing very clunky, and it comes down to their combinations, constantly chopping and changing. I don't feel like it's helping their cause, to be honest, and yeah, it just looks like an uphill battle whenever they come into a matchup. They're just not gelling, they're not clicking, and it all starts from the number 6 and 7.
Are you going to give Knights a chance in this game?
Yeah, in my opinion, I feel like the Knights should get this win. The Roosters, it's a shame because they look at their lineup and they've just got stars all over the pitch, and I feel like Tedesco is going to be a big loss at the back there. In my opinion, he's been their best player all year. Some question marks. Obviously, he's in his form in Origin duty, but I definitely feel like he's been one of their best, so he'll be a big loss for him.
All right, well, thank you very much for that one, Josh. Unmissable matchups are taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, you can watch it on Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Welcome to the NRL previews for round 16 of the 2023 season. I'm Renee Gartner and joined by Josh Mansour. And Josh, Parramatta, they're building on confidence, but they go into this game with a new spine. How much is that going to change the dynamic?
Yeah, a lot. I definitely believe that. Obviously, Mitch Moses not being there. He's their main indicator who steers the ship. Obviously, Dylan Brown out as well. So I know Ryan Madison did have a bit of time in the halves coming up as a junior, but the biggest pressure is going to come on the number 7, Dejan Arce. He had an outstanding game last week against the Bulldogs, a couple of line breaks there, and for me, he's just going to be playing better and better as the weeks go on, and obviously a bit more pressure, but that brings the best out of players sometimes.
All right, well, over to Manly. We talk about confidence boosters. A huge result over the Dolphins last week, but their backline was on fire, some serious strike power, but again, another team with quite a few changes.
One of the fans that would have been happy would have been yourself, no doubt, but for Manly, they've been really strong lately, and the biggest thing for them is just being consistent now. They got Tommy Tebojevic out at the moment, who's been a star for him, but
and DCE as well.
And DCE, of course, steering the ship, but they can't use that as an excuse. It's next man up for them, and they really want to play on the back of that great win last week. And for me, they had the opportunity here. They got a great, outstanding back line. They've scored a lot of points. This man here, Cooler, he's just absolutely lightning when he's in open space, and he's going to be a big threat for the Manning Seagulls this week.
Yeah, we also can't go on without mentioning as well too, it's the first time father and son go against each other.
Of course, yeah. Obviously, Jacob Arthur having to leave the Parramatta Eels, but it's a very exciting time for himself, and he's from the Northern Beaches originally, so I'm sure he's going to go out there and have a point to prove.
Well, he used to be Manly's ball boy while his dad was an assistant coach there as well, so there's plenty of signs there.
Full circle.
Exactly. All right, well, great stuff, and unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, remember you can watch it on Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kickoff is at 5:30 p.m. Welcome to the NRL previews for round 16 of the 2023 season. I'm Renee Gartner and joined by Josh Mansour. And Josh, we're looking at the West Tigers and Storm. It's going to be a tough task for the Tigers. Big losses, Appy, Brooks, and they both join Dewey in the casualty ward.
They just can't cut the trick, can they, unfortunately? And the three main positions you can get, in the injury ward, but again, you just got to move on with the job. And they've got obviously Stafford Toa moving into sixth there, and Brandon Wakeham, who's been playing pretty good for him lately as well, and definitely making one of his best NRL seasons this year. So the task isn't going to get easy, unfortunately. I know, coming up against the Storm, who had a massive win last week. Yes, they got a few losses themselves, but yeah, the Tigers just really got to come together and hopefully string a few wins now.
Well, the Storm are proof of the pudding that they don't string two bad losses back to back, and they came out and showed that. They come into this game, they lose Welsh and, of course, three other guys to Origin as well. Does that destabilise them?
Yes and no. Obviously, it'll have some sort of effect. The four key players, Welsh, you got Munster, Coates, and obviously Grant. So they definitely have a role to play, and they've been one of their star players all year. So for me, they definitely got to come together. It's going to be a lot of pressure on Jerome Hughes steering the ship without Munster there, but for me, it's again, like for the Tigers, they got the Storm at the right time. I know one thing, you don't want to play the Storm after a tough loss, and we saw last week what they were able to do at home. So for the Tigers, it's a big task, but it is achievable.
All right, we'll shave your head over this one, or?
No, we won't be shaving. It's just growing back, as you can tell.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you very much, Josh. Unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, you can watch it on Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kickoff is at 7:35 p.m. Welcome to the NRL previews for round 16 of the 2023 season. We're unpacking the final matchup of the round between the Sharks and the Bulldogs. And the men from Cronulla, they're going to need a big performance to prove that they can still shake up this Premiership challenge. Yeah, extremely disappointing loss against the Storm last week, conceding over 50 points. It's a pretty big loss, and one thing about Craig Fitzgibbon is, which is surprising for me, he's all about defence. He's an ex-defensive coach, and an old cliche, go back to the drawing board and fix up all those mistakes. And for me, most of that came back from effort. And that's a pretty big alarming issue at the moment for the Sharks. But I know there's a few players in that team that got a chip on their shoulder. Nico Hines, for one, who want to go out there and rectify that. Yeah, well, you speak about defence, and that's been a big thing for a man that you have on hotline in Ciraldo. He was scathing over the Bulldogs' defence in their last game. They've got a lot to improve on that, because he was really impressed with the young players' energy, but was disappointed with his senior leadership group. Well, you pretty much said it. Like for the Sharks last week, effort was non-existent. And with the Bulldogs, I feel like the tries that they conceded were from system errors. Right, a few guys just getting out of their system and trying to solve it on their own. And obviously, this guy on last week was absolutely outstanding. Carl, has been big raps on him all year, and you set up Matt Burton with an outstanding try. And you see this amazing try with Khalid, another youngster making his own in the NRL. And they definitely got a few players that have stepped up this year, the Bulldogs. But their biggest thing has been injuries. A lot of injuries to main guys, and just trying to build consistency and obviously combinations. And hopefully they can do that this week. All right. So have you got a pick out of the two? Yeah. Again, like last week, I was quite disappointed with the Sharks' performance, mainly through their effort. I feel like as soon as they stepped on that field, they looked defeated. And for me, the Bulldogs, they have a bit of fight in them in every game, and there will be an opportunity for the Bulldogs against the Sharks, but it won't be easy. All right. Well, thank you very much, Josh. It's unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, you can watch it on Channel 9, Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kick-off is at 4:05 p.m. Sunday.